It's time now, of course, to put a bit of focus on education this hour here on the Midday View with our reporters in different parts of the country. We do have only 28 days to go until the class of 2021 write the final exams. The COVID-19 pandemic has had an impact on the schooling. Are they adequately prepared? What about the teachers, the pupils and the parents? What are they saying? We've got our reporters, Lethiwe Mdluli in Durban. We've got Ayesha Ismail in Cape Town, and here in Gauteng, in Ivory Park, we've got Masego, Rahlaga, who finds herself this hour at a school. Masego, let's begin with you. Good afternoon. What are you finding out?
Well, Dan, really, most of what the pupils have been telling us throughout the course of the day. I mean, we've crisscrossed in many parts of Gauteng, starting off in Pretoria, and now, as you said, we are in Ivory Park in Tembisa. And the pupils have been saying that, they are ready, anxious, but they will try their best. Their teachers saying that they have instilled as much positivity as they can into their pupils, and they too believe that the pupils won't let them down. But I do have two matric pupils from the Ivory Park Secondary School, ZIYANDA. The past 2 years have been very difficult for you. Not only is your matric year disrupted, your grade 11 year was also disrupted. How did you manage? Were you anxious at some point? And if yes, how did you deal with that anxiety?
Okay, so last year was a pretty tough year because of the whole COVID outburst. And I could say that our schools have tried very hard with instilling online classes so we can actually push, but I won't lie, I struggled because I actually prefer a teacher standing in front of me, and it was something new, something I've never experienced before. And I went through a lot of anxiety, but I could say a lot of exercise and meditation and, telling myself, believing in myself, and telling myself that I will get through this. And if I work as hard as I can and treat these online classes as if I'm in a classroom environment and take this seriously, then I will get somewhere. Yes.
So the 27th AMUKELANI of October is in 28 days' time. That's about 4 weeks or so. Are you okay? I know that as a child you want to also impress not only yourself, but you want to impress your parents. Are you doing okay?
Truth be told, grade 12 is hard, especially because we have not been learning last year. We only learned for 3 months or 2 months or so. But then with all the support that we get from school, we have Saturday classes, we have morning and afternoon classes. So with that, we are able to catch up on the work that we missed last year. But irregardless of that, we are really working hard and smart. We do not want COVID to make us to lose hope. We have been having our motivational drives here at school, so our teachers are really supporting us and we are really trying to work hard, so it is actually promising. Yes.
Just very quickly to the both of you, after matric, what exactly would you like to study?
I would like to study computer sciences and become a software developer one day.
And your grade 11 marks, were those okay to apply for that?
There were a few, the mistakes there and there, but yes, I could say they are okay, but not what I wanted, they're not really what I wanted for myself, but because of the situation, the whole COVID and staying at home and everything, it was hard for me, but I made it.
AMUKELANI, and your dreams and aspirations after matric?
I want to study chemistry next year, and my grade 11 marks, they were just good. But then for mathematics, it was like very low. I wasn't impressed. But then this year, I can see the improvement, and I'm glad.
Thank you so much, the both of you, and good luck, definitely, for the end of the year. And as you can hear, Braden, these pupils, their dreams and aspirations are of becoming really important people in society, scientists for both of them, really, one in computer studies and one in another field of science. But, as you heard from them, very anxious, but they do believe in themselves, and I think that's all they need at the moment.
Yeah, you're right. The Masego AMUKELANI NGOBENI wants to study chemistry. There's a chemist there for the future. And ZIYANDA NJELE wants to be a software developer. Good luck to them. And thank you very much as well, Masego, talking to them at this hour as we're focusing on education. Now let's go to Cape Town. Ayesha Ismail, you've been standing by. We've heard what these two matriculants here at one school, Ivory Park High School in Tembisa in Gauteng, are saying about how hard it's been for them to study in grade 11 and now this year preparing for the exams, which are just 28 days away. In Cape Town, what have the pupils been telling you, Ayesha?
So those sentiments have been echoed by matric pupils here in Cape Town, and I spoke to them about their challenges that they faced this year being matric pupils. And some of them were telling me about the fact that they have lost loved ones, family members, and some of them have actually lost teachers. But despite that, they still remain positive and they are confident that they're going to be completing this year successfully. I went to one school in Steenberg and I spoke to some matric pupils there, and I was fortunate enough to speak to twins, and this is what they had to say about their matric year.
One of the very difficult things of this year is that we have been compared to matriculants under different circumstances than ourselves. So COVID-19 has really placed pressure on us to perform at a greater level in order to make our parents and our teachers proud. I can actually totally agree with Bielkies, but what has most affected us as students this year is the fact that our teachers have been placed under tremendous amounts of stress, and that has impacted on the quality of education that we have received. And I think that if COVID hadn't come along, maybe our matric year would have been easier.
Oh, yes, this pandemic. I wonder, though, Ayesha, what the teachers there in Cape Town have been telling you. What about them? Are they ready for these exams?
So the teachers are saying that they are doing and have been doing whatever they could to help their students. But then also the teachers in the poorer communities were also saying that it was also difficult for their pupils to cope with online learning, because clearly, you know, they were not prepared for this and they're not used to it. But let's take a listen to what this teacher at Steenberg High had to say.
So the battle is kind of for us with our learners to face it in a community where we've already been battling with poverty, with lots of retrenchments, with loss of jobs, and then when suddenly you realize there's very little left, we're trying to really keep the fire burning, keep these kids afloat so that our dropout levels and the kids on the street cannot increase. We have to do so much more to try and motivate youngsters who I understand are not getting what they really need. So their social life has been impacted so tremendously that they don't actually know their identity has taken its toll here. So we are hoping that even if COVID comes to some stop, that we can recover and regain and try and just get our senses back of living a life that they deserve. And already in the community, battling with crime, battling with gangsterism and drug addiction, we try and get them back to the school, but we can't even have them on a daily basis. So for us as a teaching corps, it is a huge battle.
That's the views of one teacher there in Cape Town. Now, let's come to Durban. Lethiwe Mdluli, I know you were expecting to speak to SATU in KwaZulu-Natal. Of course, they represent the teachers, but they're not available at this hour. However, I do know you've been up and about as well, talking to different people and stakeholders, particularly pupils as well as teachers. What is the sentiment in Durban as we are heading towards these matric exams now, just 28 days from now? What can you highlight for us this hour?
Well, Praten, it's been a very long day for a lot of us here in Durban, because I've been speaking to different people, especially unions, around some of the issues that they are dealing with. I first started speaking with the PSA earlier on, who shared some of the problems that teachers and both learners have been through during this time, and the PSA raised a few issues, especially when it comes to the shortages of teachers in schools. KZN has been been facing with this problem for a couple of years now, and the unions have been calling for the Departments of Education to fill those vacant posts. But the Departments of Education in the province is saying that they are unable to do so because of the budget cuts that they've been experiencing. So there was a lot of questions asked by the unions, teachers, and also parents about the quality of education that matriculants and other learners are receiving because of the shortage of teachers. And not so long ago, I did speak to a few teachers who were complaining about the workload that they have to deal with because of this problem. Now, the Departments of Education also not so long ago did announce that they were told by Treasury in KZN that they might have to let go of some 4,000 teachers because of budget issues. So these are some of the problems that the schools here in KZN Praden are dealing with. But not only does COVID-19 impact on this, that also does impact on it. Another issue was that during July, we saw the unrest that took place in the province, and that also puts a hamper on schooling and teaching. So those are some of the problems that the province is currently undergoing. I will be speaking to the Departments of Education a bit later on just to find out how ready we are as a province to actually sit down for the matric exams.
Yeah, a lot of challenges there. Thank you very much, Lethiwe Mdluli in Durban, Ayesha Ismail in Cape Town, and Masego Rahlaga in Ivory Park, Tembisa here in Gauteng for that education focus this hour. Tough, it is going to be very hard. I mean, you must really try. If you do have a matriculant in your household or you know somebody who does, they need all the support we can give them there, but not more stress, just support, okay?